Hold on. All right, here we go.
God,
Hey,
okay.
shalom, shalom.
Shalom. God, we good.
Hey, shalom, shalom. HaYawam to Wab, which is good day. Anak na waha HaDabar Yasha'Allah Hawlakim La'atam. Call Shabawai Baharucha Wakak Shaw Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shah Ma'amah. Which is truly, hey, with the Hebrew Israelites coming to you week in and week out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham. Yahweh Shah to preach to you so called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, Israelite foreigners, Nacham, Matam, Kayam, Malakwat, Hashemayim, Korab. Repent, gay for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. First and foremost, before we get started, I'm going to say, Karl Layim La, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham Chah Kodash. A double honor to the elders and apostles of great millstone that taught us truth and rule well. And much respect to you, brothers out there pushing this truth with our righteousness and sincere shalom, shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
So pretty much today we're going to go ahead and get into a word of the day. HaDabar Shal HaYawam. HaDabar is the word Shal of the day HaYawam. All right, which is going to be Chaataza, as it is in the title. All right. Salat. Is it clear, bro?
God, you good.
All right, Khan. So the word Chaataza goes into an arrow as I got one drew up right here. All right, spelled Chaataza. All right, and it goes into an arrow, but it's spelled with the Cha because the Cha goes into a wall. And what does a wall do? Salat. A wall divides. So, and that's pretty much what an arrow does. All right, arrow divides flesh. All right, but it also shares the same word with the division of a thing. You know, can go to a division of land. You know, so could we get that definition, Baba Kushai?
God. You want the first one? You want the root?
The root.
God. First, the root is Strong's H 2686. It reads to divide, to be cut off, to be finished, to
Mm-hmm.
shoot arrows.
Right. It says to shoot arrows because when you shoot an arrow, you're pretty much making a division. Could you go into the Hebrew Chinese lexicon, Baba Kushai?
God. It reads to divide and in trans to be divided,
Mm-hmm.
to divide one's share with another, a part, a portion. It says to cut in pieces.
Right, because if you
Uh,
was to take
yeah,
it's a lot. If you was to take some land, you know, pretty much you divvying it up or you dividing it, you making a portion. You know, you keep going.
God. It says to cut in pieces, whence an axe or adds, hence figuratively to distinguish. Um, the power of cutting, dividing, or sharpening in
Mm-hmm.
common with the cognates.
So we good on that, but it says
God.
sharpening. What's sharp, and what
Mhm.
divides on the arrow? You see, the point. You know, if you ever looked at the old Gadite spearheads and the old or slot, not the spearheads. You ever looked at the old Gadite arrowheads, you had like the sharp jagged lines, but pretty much they was all in the form of a diamond or it was in the form of a triangle, and that was to cut. You know, it was sharp, and then it also divided. You know, because it
Right.
gets it gets his word or his name from the division of like skin. You know, because pretty much if you was to put it in reference, or if you was to compare it to like dividing up land, that's pretty much what you do to land. You know, you pierce the land, and you pretty much allot it to whoever is going to go to.
Right.
You know, I just want to get a couple precepts on that because the Lord says He has you know his arsenal or his armory. You know,
God. You
let's
want that
start at
Samuel?
huh
So you want that Samuel?
um that's cool. We can start with we get Joel chapter 3 and start at verse 9.
It's the book of Joel, chapter 3, and verse 9. It reads, proclaim ye this morning, the Gentiles, prepare for war. Prepare for war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up.
You go to verse 10.
God. Verse 10. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong.
And that's pretty much what we're seeing happening. You got countries like North Korea, smaller countries like Iran. They got the button now, and that button going into the ICBMs, which will be Chaataza Yamwa. All right, his arrows, because that's the Lord's arsenal. All right, it's going to the ICBMs, the nukes. That's what's going to divide up this land of America, Babylon the Great, and divide
Right.
you wicked individuals. All right,
God.
we we get we can get Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5, and I'll get Isaiah 54 and 16.
God. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 9, and verse 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood.
God,
But
because if you
this
take
shall.
so like, if you take like ancient warfare, like 300 style, it was with that confused noise, a lot of garments rolled in blood, blood everywhere, just the ancient warfare. You keep going.
Right. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire.
This shall be burnt with burning and fuel of fire. All right, going to the ICBMs and nukes. All right, I got a quick one. This is Isaiah 54 and verse 16. It says, Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. All right. And pretty much going into how the Lord put the spirit on these Edomites to come up with the nuke, because when you go into nuclear, or I think it's the word atom, but pretty much they made it to where it was divisible. The atoms in that particular instrument was divisible. You see, so in turn, eventually they got to where they could make nukes. You know.
Right. God. Hey, and those smiths, were the ones who would make the arrowheads. You
Mm-hmm.
know. So just going back, to the word,
Yep.
that those arrows being the arrows of the Lord's indignation. In modern
Mm-hmm.
times, they're those nuclear warheads, man.
Yep. We could get let's get let's get Isaiah. I get Isaiah 24 and 20, and you can get Joel 2 and 1 to verse 9.
God.
This is Isaiah chapter 24. We'll get verse 20. It says, The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. All right, now what can do this? All right, going into them nukes. We seen what happened with Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Or the places in Japan that got hit. They still dealing with that today, and that was an atomic bomb. Or what I meant to say was the atomic bomb, I believe. But how much more would a nuke? You see, it'd be catastrophic. I'm gonna get another one because I'm gonna read it again. It says, the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again." All right, and what can do this? I'm gonna get a quick one. This is second Isaiah, also Esdras, chapter 16. We'll get verse 13. It reads, it says, "For strong is the right hand that bendeth the bow." I'm sorry, verse 12, verse 11. I'll start from verse 8. It says, "The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? A fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence?" It says, "The earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof, and the sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also before the Lord, and before the glory of his power." Verse 13, "For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow, the arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss. When they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Hey, and going to what the point of the lesson, the word Chaataza, all right, which means to divide, because that's the word that pretty much arrow comes from, Chaataza, which means to divide. When you go into the specific symbols and characters in that word, the first one you have is a cha, all right, and that goes into a wall. And what does a wall do? It divides. You see, so if you shoot an arrow at something, like say if you was at a range or something like that, and just you take like a arrow, it's going to divide that paper. Same thing with the missile, all right. But when these missiles hit the specific targets in the world, it's not going to miss. As Joel goes into, we go ahead and get that Joel 2 and verse 1 through 10, and then close it if you ain't had nothing.
God. This is Joel chapter 2 and verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in mine holy mountains. Let the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand.
Mm-hmm.
A day of darkness and gloom and of gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains. A great people and a strong, there hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations.
Mm-hmm.
A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness.
And
Yea,
why is it going to be like this? Because it said the land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and a desolate wilderness after them, because they're coming to divide. When you also go into the word divide and also arrow, it means to be cut off, and to be cut off means to be destroyed. You know.
mhm, that's right. It said, Yea, and nothing shall escape them.
Mm-hmm.
The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run.
Mm-hmm. Going into the scripture just got out, Second Ezra 16 and 13. It says, "So shall they run." You see, so they can get to where they need to go. You know,
Yep,
it said, uh, when they begin to be shut off in the world, who's going to turn them back? Roughly paraphrasing, then nothing's going to stop them. They're going to reach their intended target.
that's right. Continuing on. Um, the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run.
Mm-hmm.
Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains, shall they leap. Like the noise of a flame, of fire, Salakia, that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Going
goes
to
into
the
what?
Lord's armory. You
Hmm.
see, Esau got his his different places that he stocks his weapons and stuff like that. What the Lord on the right hand side has his armory. You see, and
Right.
it's filled with the arrows, the ICBMs. All right, Esau feel like these things are his to control. They set up these different peace treaties and stuff like that. But truly, he's set up in a trick bag, because the Lord is going to be the one that puts a spear on these different countries to actually press the button. You know,
Hmm.
when we go to
God.
Ezekiel, the 21st chapter, it talks about how pretty much the arrows are going to be used. Like I said, Esau tries to set up these different packs and stuff to make it to where he's not going to be destroyed. You see, but that's not the case. The Lord has it prophesied that this man is going to go down. All right, his kingdoms is going to be destroyed with ICBMs, the arrows,
That's right.
Chaataza Yamwa,
God.
which
I
is his
quickly said,
arrows.
God. It's Jeremiah 50 and 29. It reads, Call together the archers against Babylon, all
Mm-hmm.
ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about. Let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she hath done. Do unto her, for she hath been proud against the Lord, against the Holy One of Israel. So as we're reading, this is, those nations have their armories, right? Which is ultimately the Lord's armory, man, right? It's all the weapons of his indignation. So he's got all these nations gathered together and pointing these nuclear warheads at Babylon the Great, man.
Mm-hmm.
Going back, Joel 3 or 2 and verse 5. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of the mountains, shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. That's what we read in that Jeremiah. It
Mm-hmm.
says, before their face the people shall be much pained, All faces shall gather blackness.
Mm-hmm.
They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. And they shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks.
Mm-hmm. What else? Verse 9?
That was 7.
10. Con. Hey, so pretty much the point, they're not going to break their ranks. All right, they're going to reach their intended target. When you go into the meaning of that specific word, it means to pierce. All right, so they have been sent out on a job. All right, and the missiles is gonna have the spirit of the Lord on them. You see, so they're gonna hit their specific targets. All right, but this the point that we want to drive home was the meaning of the word arrow, which is Chaataza, or which means to divide. All right, because these arrows are going to divide this land, and it's going to divide wicked individuals. All right, when you go into the word divide, it means to cut off. All right, Amar Shana to say again, Chaataza, which is the word of the day, HaDabar Shal HaYawam. So,
Okay.
you had anything else, bro?
That was it. That was it.
I don't want to Zaza about Nayapa. Lord's will, that was a beautiful edification through the spirit. Wow, I don't want to Zaza Adam Yashawam to Wab. Lord's will, you have a good day. Hey, Shalom, Shalom.
Shalom.